Hey everybody. So in 2014, I did a really short sermon on what Easter means to me. And one of the things that really blew my mind about doing the research on that was the horrific pain that Jesus went through in the crucifixion. It's just between that duration and just being up on the cross. And I really didn't know that he was having to shift his body weight between his legs and his arms. And so when he shifted his weight on his legs, it would allow him to breathe, but then the pain would become excruciating and he'd have to shift his weight back to his arms. But when he did that, he couldn't breathe. And he did that for hours on top of everything else, the beatings, the ridicule. And what I didn't really understand in 2014 was that I'm understanding now, as I'm working on my relationship with God and just knowing Him and trusting Him and putting my faith in Him and loving Him, is that a big part of that relationship is how you value yourself. And well, I think I've had good self-esteem in the past. What it never really put two and two together was the idea that he did that for all of us. He did that for each of us. He did that for me. And so I really need to understand that he values me in a way that I need to value myself. Where I need to be able to, if I'm going to love God, I'm going to have to love myself. They're not either or even though you probably have to work on your relationship with God first, it's pretty immediate that you really have to embrace who you are and how He loves you and how you have to value yourself. And that's been super helpful because it's really made me get through difficult times, but it's also really made me encouraged about the future and just about serving and being there for others, because it's something that I really want to do. The other aspect that comes with this realization of how God values us is I've had good relationships with God in the past, but I've walked away. I've become angry. I've resented Him. I've blamed Him. Or basically just decided that He was unfair because I felt like He was treating other better, and then was vindictive towards Him and others. I don't think if someone treated me the way I treat God, I could reconcile their relationship, and yet He constantly takes us back. He constantly takes me back. He constantly supports me, loves me unconditionally. I think a really good example of this is the book of Hosea and how that prophet went through that very challenging marriage with Gomer and how she kept being unfaithful and he kept taking her back because God commanded him, because God wanted Homer to understand what he was going through with his people, how they kept rejecting him, and yet he would always take them back. And I put that in my own life, and I am ashamed and embarrassed that I've pushed God away so many times and become so angry with Him, but it is mind-blowing that He always takes us back, that He always loves us unconditionally. And it's really made me want to work on really valuing myself, because I must be valuable if He's willing to take me back every time. And I must be valuable if He was willing to die on the cross for me. And I'm hoping that that's a light bulb for a lot of us to understand that if we're going to love God, we're going to have to really embrace ourselves too. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You just can't focus on Him. It's just not what He wants. He wants us to be in relationship with Him. So I hope that the stories of His sacrifice and resurrection and the stories of like Hosea and His unconditional love, undying love, helps all of us really understand where we need to be with Him. Thanks.